What's going on, you lovely lot? If you're new here, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome back. So today I am doing my final review of the Wheeltop EDS TX hydraulic disc group set. It is a hell of a name to come out of your mouth. It's very long. Yeah, just gonna give you my initial thoughts and a conclusion and how I felt. It is currently on the L's that I have recently been riding every single ride for the last week and a half. I've actually put some crazy kind of distance in the bike already. I think I've done about 300k since installing it. I still haven't done a breakdown video of it. That was to come. But yeah, Wheeltop. Right, let's talk about that group set. So there are a couple of pros and there are a couple of cons. But one of the pros to begin with, it's really easy to install. I've never built a bike before. This L's was my first ever bike build, and I did it. I routed my own cables, I indexed my own gears, I bled my own brakes, I installed disc brakes for the first time ever. And this was the group set I used, and because it's completely wireless, it's easy. There's nothing else I can really say. It's just easy to install. The fact that there's no cables going through the bike, apart from the hydraulic hose, which was literally just poke through, and it'll be the same for most obviously hydraulic group sets, but that being the only thing I had to go through. The frame was fantastic, and then the hydraulic calipers, they have everything you need, but to install. Yeah, it feels really well made. Everything's just feels well drilled, well just produced. Also, don't know the ins and outs of battery life, etc. That's not really one thing that kind of I think about as much. I haven't charged them yet on any of these rides. I charged them when I first put them on the bike, but I haven't charged them since. And on Saturday I did 130 kilometers, but the shifting feels really good. When I first installed it, the front derailleur felt really kind of dodgy, but as it turns out, that's just down to me installing it. It does feel really good. The hoods have started to feel better. My initial reactions were that the hoods were actually quite small, and I still think they're quite small, but as quite a lot of people have pointed out, it is quite aero. So I guess it's on an aero bike, so it makes perfect sense. There's also some really good compatibility that I wouldn't have actually expected. I've paired it with my Garmin 530, so it's not even a new Garmin, and I can track the gear that I'm in, which is such a great feature, which I never knew anything about, and I'm really glad I have it because it's really interesting. Because then, obviously, the indexing leaves a lot to be desired if you're not a mechanic. I mean, even if you are a mechanic, it's still very long and arduous to do. But I was riding on Saturday and I felt one gear was rattling a little bit, and I could identify what gear that was while I was on the bike without getting my phone out. I could just go up on my Garmin head unit and it says, "Oh, you're in the fifth gear." And it's alright, so the fifth gear is one. When I get back to a bench or when I get an opportunity, I can just true it out a little bit or index it a bit, and then it was fine. So let's go through a little list of pros. Well priced, easy to install, good quality, well made, good shifting, great compatibility with Bluetooth ANT to a head unit. And then negatives, the hood rubbers are a nightmare to work with. I genuinely bruise the end of my fingers, which it could be pro and a con, because it means that they're not going to slip off, but also means that when I was bleeding the hoses, I was worried I was going to rip it in half, or when I tried to tighten them on to the bars, it's hard to get that. Luckily, my Torque has a 3-inch 5mm Allen key, so I was able to get in, but that part was a bit of a nightmare. The shifters are quite small, or the hoods are quite small, but obviously I'm used to using a 105 mechanical, so the hoods on them are chimneys, so I'm just obviously used to just having this massive thing at the end to stop me from rolling forward. But I am definitely going to keep this on the bike. I have no intentions. I've not looked at online to replace it with anything. On the L's at the moment, it's what's going to stick onto it, so I'm going to keep it on the L's at the moment. It's not going to go anywhere for the time being. I might talk about it on the vlog at some point, when I've hit over 1,000 kilometers or something, which actually it seems to be quite quite quickly approaching. But yeah, I mean, I've paired it with a 50, 34, 12-speed 105 crankset and a 11, 34, 12-speed cassette and a KMC 12-speed chain, and it seems to be working perfectly. The indexing was a bit of a pain in the ass, but yeah, I'm happy with it. Yeah, so to round this out, I am enjoying it. It looks good. Price point isn't that bad. They actually have a big discount coming up soon. I don't know when that is. I think it's sometime in October. But yeah, there's a link in the description for my affiliate link. Use it, don't use it, up to you. Sometimes it gives you 5% off, sometimes it gives you 3% off. I actually don't know what it gives at the moment. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this review has given you something to take away. It's my honest opinion. They actually haven't paid me anything to do this. They gave it to me to test, which is why now it's just going to stay on the bike. So my opinion is my own. Simple as. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.